My name is Hannah, and this is my beauty budget. Hey guys, so it's just a day or two before our move. This room is almost completely dismantled, as you can tell. My makeup is still here, but I think I'm about to film a video of myself packing up my makeup, which may or may not have already gone up when you're viewing this. I'm not actually quite sure how everything's going to unfold over the next couple of days. Joe is packing on the other side of that door, so there may be some unusual cling, clangs, and bangs. Sadie is very nervous. She doesn't like this at all, so there may be some unusually sad cries from the little kitten. But overall, this, my favorites video, should proceed as usual. Let's go ahead and get into the meat of the video. The other thing that's happening is that my hair is acting like crazy bananas. I don't really know what's going on. I just washed it last night and this is what it's doing today. I trimmed my bangs again too, and I think I got them a little bit short. So all of my favorites this month are techniques, ways of doing my makeup, trends, ways of looking. They're not necessarily product specific. I do have some products here that I've been using to execute one of my favorites, and another set of products that I've been using to execute another of my favorites, but I don't want you to feel like you need the things that I have to do the things I'm going to talk about. As always, I encourage you to look within your collection, look at what you already have, and find your favorites or try out my favorites with what you already have. This isn't about favorite products that are new that you need to go out and buy. My first favorite is the soap brows technique, and I actually talked about it at more length than I expected to in my most recent video, which was my empties video, because I used up my Givenchy brow gel, the one that I had loved, and then I kind of talked quickly through how to do soap brows. So I'll link that video right now, and there are so many other tutorials about soap brows. Like, you really don't need me to tell you how to do it. It's just like soap on the spoolie in your brows. It's really just that. I liked Linda Hallberg's. That was the one that I watched for reference. But as I said in that video, I just love the flexibility of using soap in my brows. I really like the fact that the soap doesn't compete with the brow pencil. It's like you're working with two versions of the same substance. One is pigmented and one is clear. And I don't feel like the soap changes the consistency of the coloring that I'm putting in my brows, which is something that I've battled with before. So I just love it. And also it's like an all-day hold. I put soap in my brows this morning, and then when I came home right before I filmed, I kind of cleaned myself up a little bit. In the past, when I've done that with gel, I've had to kind of put more gel in or like break up the atrophy of the gel and restructure. But today, all I had to do is use a spoolie to kind of push my brows around a little bit and get them just so. The soap was still holding them, and that soap from this morning is still holding them. So soap brows are my jam from now until I feel like forever. And I don't know, I feel like some of the popular brow products that have been coming out, like Boy Brow, are just an attempt to put soap brows in a tube, if that makes sense. There's this sort of like waxy hold thing that's become very popular. None of the products I've tried of that nature will dry down enough to really hold my brows. The soap dries back down because it's solid to begin with. It's not I'm not putting a liquid into my brows and then hoping that it will dry. I'm taking a solid, momentarily turning it into a liquid or a paste, and then as soon as it gets the chance, it sets back into a solid again, and so it holds my brows. It makes so much sense. Whereas if you have something in a tube, it's wet, it's a liquid, and for it to set enough to hold my very, very stubborn brows, it either has to be a really intense gel, from which I would guess some alcohol evaporates, leaving it hardened, or something like Glossier Boy Brow, which is always gonna be too soft and too waxy to really keep my brows floofed up like I like them. Side note, just side note, my thoughts since converting to soap brows. All right, the second thing that has been my favorite this month is this right here that's going on my face, which is the nude or nearly bare eye and the bold lip. And this is a look that I wear a lot in, I wouldn't say a lot in daily life. It's a look that I wear once in a while in daily life. It's kind of one of my go-to easy but slightly more impactful looks for day. But as I said 2 videos ago, I've never come on camera this way. I've always felt in the past like my eyes would be too washed out. I feel like it makes me look older when you can really see all of the skin around my eyes instead of having it sort of grunged over and smeared out with eyeshadow. But I had so much lovely feedback from you guys on that video saying that you felt like I looked fresher and younger. And indeed, when I was editing the footage, I was a lot happier with how I looked in the footage than I thought I would be. I thought it was going to be like, oh brother, here we go. But instead I was like, oh, it's not really, it's not what I thought, you know? So I've been doing this more. I've been excited to come on camera with less eyeshadow and kind of more of a fresh face again and again, and I anticipate doing that more as this month proceeds. But I've also been doing it a lot in my daily life because I shopped my stash for 10 bold lip colors. So this has kind of been what I'm rocking almost on the daily, and I've been enjoying it more than I ever have before. It's definitely kind of like a new favorite way of balancing my face this month, or rather last month. I mean, this is my March favorites. So for much of March, this is what I've been into. And it works with so many different kinds of lip color. So this is the Cosmetics Infinite Lip Cloud in Faded Clementine, which I find to be a really mutable product in terms of color. So this is it at sort of medium opacity. I put it on a pretty thick layer and I blotted it once on the back of my hand. So it's just slightly more velvet than it would be if it was just a thick, fresh, shining layer. I mean, it does mattify, but you know what I mean, like a thick, sealed over layer. It's got a little bit of texture because I blotted it. I sometimes wear it at full opacity and it's quite dark. It's almost like the impact of a red. And then I often wear it even more faded than this, like really, really faded. And that has the effect of looking surprisingly natural considering that it's orange. This lippy itself isn't necessarily a favorite this month. This is an all-time favorite. It's always one of my favorites. It's one of my all-time favorite lip products. But I was just trying to say that it works. I hope this look works with this kind of color, like an orange, a soft burnt orange. It's worked really well with some of those bright watermelon corals that I picked. It's worked with strong reds. It's worked with deep reds. It's kind of working for me right now. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling my oats in this nearly nude eye and bold lip. And then my other kind of technique for makeup favorite complements or is inspired by this favorite. So what I've really been loving doing with eyeshadow when I'm barely wearing any, and also even when I've been doing eye looks, like when I've chosen eyes over lips for a day, what I've really been loving is an all over shimmer. And I mean all over. I've been really inspired by the pictures of that Rowan palette. It's a newly released brand by a celebrity makeup artist, and she has these unbelievable product shots with kind of like thick, intense shimmer all the way from lash line to brows. So I really love that super editorial version of it, but I also like a lighter version. And she even, I think, released some product shots of it being used in a lighter way, like not so runway editorial, but a little bit more wearable editorial. And that's the kind of thing that I've been imitating. So I did want to tell you which products I've been using to do that. One that I've been going to again and again, and I don't think I've shown this on my channel yet, is the Kevyn Aucoin Nude Pop palette, which was sent to me by one of you. An incredibly generous, sweet subscriber who reached out and said that she had bought it, but it didn't work for her lids because she felt like her lids were oily and it's kind of oily and it never really wore well on her. So she's emailed me and asked if I would like to adopt it, and I said yes. And Genevieve, thank you so much. It's just been a true pleasure. It's been really fun getting to know this. I have quite dry skin and very dry eyelids, so it seemed like a good fit, and I was like, yeah, I appreciate that might be the trouble with it, but I also am not deterred from trying it myself based on that. And I actually haven't found that I've had that kind of problem with it at all. However, I've mostly used just a couple of the shimmers. I have dipped into the mattes a little bit, and I feel like I haven't quite gotten the hang of them. I don't think I can give a full review of this yet because I haven't focused enough on trying to use the mattes because I've been so into this other kind of look. And the color I've been using a lot for it is this one, which I think is called Graffiti, and it's this kind of plummy shimmer here in the upper corner. So it's sort of got like a sooty, burnt undertone, but it's also purple and it's also shimmery. That sooty look is what I've really been going for. But I've almost been shearing this out even more because when I wear it on my lids, I concentrate it so that it has a little bit more depth in the outer corner, in the outer V where we would usually put like a black or a brown. I just put extra layers of this so that it looks darker. And then all over the lid, it's sheared out. And then I shear it even more sheer all the way up, literally like into my brows. So it's like an all over lid look, like a single shadow eye look, but because it's such an intense, weird, shimmery, sooty, muddy thing, it ends up looking like a bit dramatic and unusual, and I've just been loving it so, so much. I've also been reaching for this Natasha Denona Chroma Crystal top coat. For this kind of thing, this is in the one that's called Gray Brown. And this is a tough product because I can't build it up the way that I can build up the other shadow. It's definitely something that's designed to be sheared out in a single layer. I don't feel like I've got a very good swatch of that. I'm gonna layer another layer on, even though I just said that it's usually something that I put on in a single layer. I guess I just mean that when I put it on, I don't let it be kind of thick anywhere on my lids, because anywhere that it's thick, it will really crease badly. Like it will bunch up into a line of crud and then it will just sort of crust away from my eyes and it looks horrible. But if I wear a pretty sticky eye primer, or sometimes even a sheer like half dry layer of glitter glue mixed with eye primer, and then I put a sheer layer of this all over my lids, seriously just a wash, it'll set and it'll stay, and it's gorgeous. It's a subtler approach than what I've been describing doing with this Kevyn Aucoin color, but it's in line. It's still sort of all of the same. It's shades of my favorite eye look this month. And then for an even sheerer look, what I have on today actually is the Stila Heaven's Hue highlighter. It's in the color Kitten. Tara sent it to me. I would never have thought to buy it, but I've been using it non-stop for my cheeks and my eyes, and it's just really lovely, glimmery and shimmery. And same as the Natasha Denona one, it actually stays quite well on my lids if I use it over a primer. I think it's actually a little bit easier to wear all day than the Natasha Denona top coat. Obviously it doesn't have the same amount of glitter in it, but it's really, really lovely. And then lastly, but not leastly, although leastly pigmented, but not leastly glamorous, is the Fenty Beauty How Many Carats Diamond Balm, this sort of putty suspension of glitter. And I'm gonna swatch it in between these two because I'm getting kind of far down and my arm's a little hairy. I don't want it to mess up the swatch. I don't know if you can even see it. I have just been loving using that kind of in tandem with all these other looks because it has a clear base. So it's just like adding a gloss of glitter, like a gloss though, because it's glitter, but it's so sheeny and so clear and sheer that it really reads as quite glossy. If you look close, if you focus on it, you can see that it's glitter, but it gives me the feeling of gloss. So I've sort of been incorporating this Fenty Diamond Balm, is that what it's called? Fenty How Many Carats? This Fenty highlighter. I've been incorporating it into my eye looks, partly on purpose and partly because a brush that I use a lot to kind of push shadow out over my eyes. Actually, it's a new brush to me. My friend Serene Wu, who has a YouTube channel, I've been watching her for a long time, for years before I even started my own channel. And now we've met since we both live in LA. And she generously gave me a set of brushes. It's like a set of brushes from the Sephora collection that she had received and she wasn't using. This is one of them. I think it was a holiday set. And I really like this kind of flat, dense, but soft blendy brush. I think it was last month that one of my favorites was the e.l.f. brush that's very similar to this. Yeah, it's this, the e.l.f. Flawless Concealer Brush. And this is a concealer brush too. So I guess what I'm saying is that I like using concealer brushes for eyeshadow. I think it's because I like to buff my eyeshadow into my skin, and these are very buffy brushes. So this brush has been just hanging out in my brush holder, living its best life, coated with this Fenty product, coated with glitter essentially, because I keep using it to get the glitter and kind of pack it on, or I even sometimes use it on my cheeks, and the glitter just hasn't come out of this. And so then I reach for it to do other eye looks or to blend other eyeshadow, and it deposits some of that glitter in amongst it. And I've just been loving it. I've just kind of been thinking of this as like the glitter brush and reaching for it all the time to do normal things and just allowing the glitter to integrate into my eye look. So I've been loving this kind of like sheer washed out glitter all over the lids. It's not necessarily flattering, or I mean, it's not like it's not flattering. It's not unflattering, but I think I was watching Lauren May Beauty today in her favorites video actually, and she referenced something that she's talked about from time to time, and I absolutely love when she talks about it. She said that she doesn't necessarily think of makeup as solely being for the purpose of making herself look prettier or look better. She's like, you know, some people really think that makeup is for making yourself look objectively better. And she said in her video that she herself thinks of it as not just that, as more than that. She thinks of it as a tool for expression, for having fun, and she'll frequently do things with makeup on her face that are for a purpose other than flattering her features or enhancing her features. And I was like, yes, I love that. I loved hearing her talk about that. And that's kind of how I feel about these eye looks I've been into. I know that if I build shadow around my eyes in a certain way, I can enhance my eyes. I can kind of make them look bigger, more sexy. I can make myself look younger, brighter, more mature. I can use the sculpting features of eyeshadow to change the way that I look and make myself more conventionally attractive. But when I'm doing these all over wash shadow looks, I'm just like, I love the way this looks in terms of its texture and its sensuality. I just love how it feels and looks, and I like seeing it there. But I don't feel like it makes me necessarily look altered for the better, beyond just the fact that there's a pretty thing there. And I love that. I'm into that. I'm trying to embrace that. So that's been one of my favorites this month, these kind of sheer glossy shimmery lids, and letting go of the need to then build in some smokiness to make my eyes look any sort of way. Another thing that I've been loving that is my favorite, I put it on this list, but it's something that I don't have. It's something that I can't, it hasn't been like my favorite to wear. It's a favorite trend of mine, and it is the mustard trend. Mustard is everywhere, and I love it. It's everywhere in clothing shops, it's everywhere in makeup, especially the clothes though. I'm really into the fact that mustard has come back as being a fashionable color. It's a color that I really like to wear, but I don't have anything mustard in my wardrobe right now. I'm feeling optimistic about being able to acquire one or two mustard things this season because it has become so ubiquitous. So I'm officially keeping my eye out for something mustard for me to spend a bit, maybe a chunk of my budget on. I am glad that the mustard trend is raging, and I'm ready to get on board the train. And then lastly, I put on my list of favorites that it was my favorite this month to get my nails done. That's something that I've only done one other time since I started my channel, and it was at about this time last year. I remember I went to Portland for a tango marathon, and I went to Finger Bang in Portland and I got my nails done, and it was wonderful. It's something I used to do all the time, and something about my no-buy year, even though I was allowed to get my nails done during my no-buy year because I considered it a salon service, not a purchase of a thing. And I don't have a problem with overspending on salon services, so I didn't include it in my no-buy rules. So I could have gotten my nails done every other week during my no-buy if I'd wanted to, but it was something about the spirit of the no-buy that deterred me. It just didn't feel important. I like the fact that when my nails are bare, the upkeep is easy in that they look good all the time because they're never like peeling or chipping or wearing away. They're never in this kind of in-between state of being finished. They're always done. And sometimes I would need to trim them and shape them a little bit, but they would always be nice looking. I would never kind of look a mess on my hands. I got my nails painted and I absolutely loved it. I got gel polish, which is what I usually do when I do have them done. And now they're looking like a little bit of a mess. It's been about 3 weeks. I'll show you what they look like. So it's sort of this sheer holographic glitter situation. I had a vision that morning. I was like, I want kind of clear polish packed with unusual shaped holographic glitter, and that's exactly what I had done. My toes also, I have the same thing on my toes, and they look impeccable for some reason. The toes just take so much longer to wear away than the fingers. But on this hand, one has completely peeled off, and many of them are kind of half peeling off. And so I'm annoyed right now. I'm like, they look nice sort of from a distance, but I don't know, maybe I'll get some nail polish and paint this like a different color so that it will kind of prolong the complete manicure until the other ones start peeling. I may get them done again. I took, I think, a lot more pleasure in it than I expected to. And I think more pleasure than I did when I had it done last year. It was fun last year, but this time I was like, this is me now. I'm into it for now. It was definitely a favorite. I don't know if I'll get them done constantly with gel polish because I think that can be bad for the natural nails, and I like my natural nails to be strong and healthy. But I might toy with doing my nails a little bit more after a year of not having done my nails at all. And that is it. Those are my favorite style trends and beauty techniques from the month of March, and some of the products that I've been using to achieve the looks that I have been wanting to go for lately. I hope that you enjoyed this. I'm sorry everything's in shambles. It will probably be in shambles again in the next video, but it will be in shambles in a new location. So stay tuned if you want to see what the loft looks like when we get there. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope that you are remembering to take extra good care of yourself so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.